Welcome to Keep the Game Beautiful podcast. Each week, I highlight incredible people who are doing amazing things in soccer, the beautiful game. I'm Anna Turi, your host. Thank you for listening. Today, I'm releasing another episode from United Soccer Coaches Convention in Kansas City. I chat with Ben and Blake from Kick It Forward. The episode today has a little bit of a different feel compared to most episodes. We spend a lot of the time joking around and just having fun, and it's definitely good sometimes. We do end up chatting about some more serious stuff, like what Kick It Forward is and their missions and goals. We also talk about the Host a Course grant. This is a grant my dad and I were able to receive for our community. This March, we will be hosting a course, all thanks to United Soccer Coaches. It was a super easy process, and United Soccer Coaches were very easy to work with. If you haven't checked out things like this and offers they give out, I would definitely encourage you to do that. I look forward to telling you all about the class once it's happened later this March. Enjoy the episode. Back reunited at United Soccer Coaches Convention, I'm joined by Blake Siberz and Ben Brackett, two good friends of mine and the podcast. They're here in Kansas City representing the nonprofit Kick It Forward. Ben, Blake, and Kick It Forward team are attending their first convention, and I wanted to visit with them. So I'll go ahead and ask you to each give me a little bit of a background on you. We'll start with you, Blake. Can you start by maybe the beginning of your journey and how you got to where you are?
Yeah, so I'm originally from Des Moines, Iowa, and grew up playing soccer. As a youth, me and Ben actually played together as like U11s for the old Iowa United Soccer Club, which morphed into the Des Moines Menace Soccer Club, and
then devolved.
Yes, yeah, so,
into the Des Moines Soccer Club.
Yeah. So did that. Went to Johnston High School and graduated there back in 2002. I went to spend a year up in Rochester, Michigan, like Oakland University. Played a year up there, soccer, then transferred to Drake in Des Moines and graduated in like 2007, I believe, and started coaching the youth clubs in Des Moines and have kind of got involved with Kick It Forward back about circa 2016-ish, trying to do some of the things that we are working on. Is that what you were looking for?
Yeah, that's good.
Sufficient.
Ben's turn.
Okay, yeah, Ben Brackett here now. Also Des Moines guy. Blake sort of told part of my story, I guess. But so I went to Valley High School in West Des Moines, and then went on to play college soccer at Brown in Providence, Rhode Island, and then coached for probably 10 years in the Des Moines area for different clubs, and then have gotten involved in the Kick It Forward fun times, I guess is what I would call it. Like you totally forgot to mention that you won a national championship with the Des Moines Menace, because you guys are Menace supporters, pro Iowa guys. So like, here's a legend right here.
It was not as cool as the final in last summer when there was like over 7,000 people.
Did you guys come in town for that?
No, I don't think we. No.
Come on, Dad.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay.
But yeah, so we're. I do commercial real estate by day, like leasing and sales, property management. Blake works at a parking company, and Kick It Forward is our it's our fun times, right? That's what we do
Fun times.
Yeah, exactly.
Each podcast, I always start with the same three questions. I'm going to ask you to answer on behalf of the organization. First, what does the beautiful game mean to you?
Do you want to like trade off, or how do you want to do this?
Yeah, trade off. You go first.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, Blake. Also, like that you have three questions you always ask, because we always ask the same questions on our less good than this podcast. Okay, so the beautiful game to me, it means is what it means.
Yeah.
It means everything to me. Soccer is kind of the thing that makes me tick. It's the only thing that I can wake up for in the morning, like with no problem. It's and it's the thing that has given me everything. And from Kick It Forward standpoint, we see that as it's being able to provide that spark to kids, and that's essentially what gets you talking, like me saying it's everything. So is that?
No, I like it. I'll answer the next one for you, Ben.
Okay, good. What's question 2?
What are actions or things you do to keep the game beautiful?
You give them an easy one.
So I think we, as an organization, to keep the game beautiful, so we offer free programming. We offer spaces, mini pitches, specifically spaces for kids to play pickup. We do a few events, free high school tournament in the spring, and offering opportunities for kids to, when I think about beautiful, it's like smiling, laughing, having fun. I think that's one of the biggest things we try to do that.
How do you encourage others to keep the game beautiful?
Okay, well,
we are positive disruptors.
Yes, we are positive. That's probably our thing. Is we want to do things a little bit differently. Is that better? We want to do things a little bit differently, and just make people, challenge people to do things. So like the mini pitch is a great example. That seems like the main goal a lot of times is to build these like big indoor facilities that cost a lot of money, and you got to pay to play there and all that fun stuff. And we want to do a little bit differently and build an outdoor pitch that is 100% accessible.
Yeah, and I would just add too, we try to create creative and innovative things. So we did like a goal of the week for last high school season, where kids submitted goals of the week. We let people vote via social media and started kind of shining a light on kids that probably normally don't get that attention. But that would be one little innovative way. The mini pitch is obviously different. So I think those would be a couple other ways.
Good stuff.
Go ahead and tell me a little bit more about Kick It Forward. What is the main mission of it?
Yeah, so accessibility is kind of our thing, and so it's accessibility, like physical accessibility to courts, and to be able to play for free. But then also like it becomes the accessibility for like if you talk about the high school game or the podcast that we have, or the goal of the week that Blake was talking about. Like to us, that also is making the game more accessible, because you're offering somebody to maybe see themselves in a role model. You're offering somebody the opportunity to gain some confidence or some notoriety for the good things they're doing. So to us, that's it's maybe a little bit twofold that way: physical accessibility, but then also just like making it a thing, like making it something that people are paying attention to.
How did this mission really come about?
Ooh, that's a loaded question there. So
can you just say like a couple beers is probably where it started?
Yeah, we alcohol tends to have a lot of our ideas and reasons why we do some of the things, which I don't know if that's good or bad. But I think so. Kick It Forward was started back in 2012, originally to give just kids a different opportunity to give back to the community. So our founder Matt Sahag started it with a group of girls that were, I think, like 10 and 11, where he instead of
basically giving like take from the rich, give to the poor.
Yeah,
right?
Charge them like to do private training, but instead of taking the money, they basically invested that money back into families and to the community, where they went Christmas shopping for families that literally didn't have beds, to get them presents. One of the cool things I always go back to, there was a soccer family had a fire way back then, like 2013, and with some of that money they got, the people lost their house, so they were able to go and get them like essential supplies that had nothing to do with soccer, but just soccer brought that piece all together. Yeah, well, and that's it. So it started as like a very simple mission, and then and it was really our founder Matt Sahag, a good friend, El Presidente as we like to call him, and Matt was just trying to be a positive disruptor without naming himself that, I think, at a certain point. And then I think both Blake and I just kind of were at a point where we wanted to put our soccer energy into something a little different, and Matt really just gave us a platform to do that. So Kick It Forward probably changed when we decided to do our first mini pitch, because the grassroots program that we were doing was pretty sporadic, I would say. Before that, the podcast was like a blip on the radar. But the mini pitch was what really sort of kicked us off. That was the Berlin Sports Park mini pitch, which I don't know if you've seen that one, Anna, or not. It's pretty sweet. It's not as cool as the Marion mini pitch, but anyway, yeah, I think that's probably that.
that is really sort of like the mini pitch success is really what sort of spurred us forward.
Did you ever picture you would run this far with Kick It Forward?
No
way. No, not at all. We every year we keep growing and getting doing more things, and we laugh. When we first started talking about a mini pitch back in 2018, first one installed in 2019, and if you would have told us we have now 16 throughout the U.S., mainly in Iowa, but no way. And then also if you would have we have 113, 14 episodes on our podcast, which we just started.
121. Good Lord.
But we just started that as a silly thing of have some beers and talk about soccer, and it just, now it's continued now for a couple of years.
Yeah, and I think that the underlying theme is just we just have fun hanging out, and we like to do soccer things. And the other piece is you expand your network. Getting a chance to talk to you, we didn't know you a few years ago, but now, you said we're good friends. I would agree, and then we are in Kansas City having a chat. But I'm also going to see guys I played college soccer with. I'm going to hopefully see my college soccer coach. You're seeing all sorts of friends and people. We just saw Frank Koenig. Do you know Frank Koenig?
No.
So Frank's the coach at Dakota Alliance, and he coached us when we were 11, and we just had breakfast with him. You don't get to do that. It'd be, I don't know. Imagine fast forwarding 20 years and who's your coach now, and you get to have breakfast with him. It's totally. It's where it's the thing.
Yeah, it's the funny. People ask, what are you guys going to do in 5 years? What's the future of Kick It Forward? We don't know. We just keep
having fun.
Yeah,
and doing soccer.
Yep.
How important are events like these for finding connections for the future?
Massively. So we actually have somewhat of a schedule this year.
Yeah, this is the first time we've planned. Otherwise, we just sort of show up.
Yeah, so we've been to, the first one was Chicago a couple years ago. Was that 2018, 2019? 19. And then we went to Baltimore, but we've never been organized enough to
come on a podcast, have an appointment.
Yeah, so we're meeting with again, we met with Frank to talk about some stuff up in Sioux Falls. So for us, it's massively important. The face-to-face is vital, because you can jump on the Zooms or jump on the phone to talk about stuff, but when you can actually talk to people in person, it definitely helps.
Well, plus, for us, we divorce ourselves from reality in Des Moines for a few days, so it gives us a chance to sort of just only talk. We'll talk about other stuff, but we're talking a lot about what we're going to do and making those plans that we maybe weren't making.
You're talking about how mini pitches were really the turnaround for Kick It Forward. How did you decide that mini pitches were a need?
You got to run with this, Ben, because this was kind of your original baby.
Yeah, I had a moment of just going down the social media rabbit hole where I'm seeing all these pictures of just basketball courts that are soccer courts, right? It's that. There was a little bit of that, just it was in my head. I had a lot of free time at that point in my life, and I think it was just I heard the old hey Eddie, I heard the old story from Iowa Soccer about wanting to put a full-sized indoor pitch within an hour of every player in the state of Iowa, and I was like, an hour? It seems still a pretty big distance. So the mini pitches, if they're in a county seat, they're 20 minutes from any person, so you can go play for free for 20 minutes. So I was just man, that seems like it has to happen. And I don't know, like I said, I had a lot of free time, so I was let's figure out how to do this, and give me a couple beers and get him on my side, then off we go. I think that's probably a good way to describe it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think ever since we got the mini pitch in our community, I've been talking about it on the podcast nonstop. But can you go ahead and tell me some of the benefits that a mini pitch has on a community as a whole?
Yeah, we just talked the other day about, it's pretty cool. So there's a Birdland mini pitch group on Facebook that has 450 members that constantly jump on, hey, pick up tonight at 6, pick up tonight at 7. And then in the winter now, they've moved to using the same group, but to organize, quote, pick up soccer. Hannah Park has their own, you guys constantly are on there on the Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
Cedar Rapids pick up soccer, constantly. Hey, park at 7 o'clock tonight. That's to me, that's a pretty cool piece of it.
Yeah, just getting to see them used is so cool. Anytime that we go out and just happen to go there organically as opposed to like have a program or whatever, and you see somebody there, it's just like, it's the best. It just feels so good. And like, we even saw remember the one in Perry? There's like one kid out there by himself just like banging the ball against the wall. It's like, that's what it's for.
I drove by Pleasant Hill. That one's like right next to me. And I drove by there, back in late fall, and there was 2 kids, a dad and his kid out there just on their own playing. Like, you know what? Like, perfect.
Yep.
And then giving kids a safe place to go do something as well. I mean, with the lights are massive because you can obviously go into the night. But, we tried to put these
the thing about the dad and the kid, though, think about it, too, like, you could do that in your backyard or your driveway, but they're like, let's go to a place that's like a soccer place. So
yeah, and then that, cool. I mean, with the surrounding of it, they're not boards, but the structure, it makes like a cool little mini soccer stadium almost.
Yep.
It was definitely like my dad's baby. We had to go check up on it every single day of repairing and everything. It was
his third child.
Yeah, I think he loved it more than us at some point.
Well, we have we would be remiss to not give Dan a shout out, your father, because, I mean, what we talked about a mini pitch with him, he was one of the first of the 10 sites that we did with Pro Iowa, and we just told him no. Well, we didn't, but that was originally the answer was no, and he was like, oh, okay. And a year later, like, who's knocking, like, pounding on the door, like, come on, let's do it. And well, hopefully you're taking notes from the old man.
Yeah, it was, vital, because if without it, we tried to approach some key stakeholders and unfortunately got denied, but we were able to come back.
Yeah, having a champion like Dan is like second to none. So Dan, thank you, many thanks.
Charles City and Waterloo, right?
Yeah.
He's already got plans for the next one. Another baby.
2 more.
Child.
Sounds like.
It's okay. He needs to fill the gap after I move out.
That's true. Well, so let's flip. So this is really hard for me, at least, to just sit here and not ask questions back to you, because obviously we do the same thing. So, are you excited for the summer and then the fall, like start school?
Yeah, I'm really excited. Kind of nervous. I'm going in younger than most people, and it's a little of a newer plan, but it's exciting to just be out there in the real world almost.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty. Nobody thumbing you, right? You're going to be making all your decisions. I love that. Mm-hmm. What's the spring season like? Are you guys going to be good?
I'm hoping it's going to be exciting, but we did lose a few good seniors, but I'm really kind of hoping to get that captain role. I'm trying to kind of step up into more of a leadership role this year and hopefully kind of lead the team in at least make it more of a positive, fun experience.
Have you guys started open gyms and stuff already?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
We've just completely hijacked the podcast.
Oh, I know.
Okay.
Let's go. So, give us your predictions for the spring.
We love a prediction.
I don't work with predictions.
You're gonna go to state?
I hope.
Right.
I hope. We were close last year, kind of. We got beat out by a good Mount Vernon team.
Fair enough. Do you guys travel west at all? Will we get we don't do well at traveling to high school games, but if there's one in Central Iowa,
South Tama.
South Tama.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
That's
Go to the casino. Isn't there a casino in Tama?
What time's the game?
Who's Marion's big rival?
I think it's Mount Vernon.
Okay.
Last year Mount Vernon was really good though. They beat us pretty bad, but that's kind of the team that missed out on their season. Last year's seniors were really excited to play Mount Vernon.
You guys are 1A?
What is it? I don't even know.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
2A.
To stump Dan on a question like that is
I officiate them the same either way.
yeah.
He gets yelled at the same either way.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Yeah, he gets yelled at by anyway. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
what class you're in.
So do you coach too, Anna?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So of all of the 3 disciplines, because I'm sure you ref, play, coach, which do you prefer, or do you just want to commentate and be a
I don't know. It's like too hard of a decision. I think I'm a good player, but I'm definitely not going to play on the women's national team. By no means. I enjoy it, but I think with refereeing and coaching, I do have a chance to make it farther, and that's kind of exciting. I've had some really good mentorship opportunities too with reffing, so maybe that's something where I can keep going.
Yeah, cool. What about you'll play forever though, right?
Yeah, hopefully.
All right.
On the mini pitches.
Good.
Yeah,
woman, I like that.
goalkeepers can play forever anyways.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those
Well, no,
pros
she'll
can play till they're
she'll probably have a foray into field playing in her 20s, where she goes and is just exclusively a striker, not playing goal anymore.
Maybe. I don't know how good my shooting is, but
All right, we'll turn it back over. I'm sorry, we did definitely.
Now that you took over podcast, let's talk about your podcast while we're kind of on your hosting journey. So you talked about it kind of started with a few drinks, like everything. Was that something that you planned to do, or?
It's kind of a cool story.
Yeah, it is actually. Go
So
ahead.
we started covering high school games because nobody was. Like the old Des Moines Register, the largest newspaper, used to cover games. Names would be in the paper, box scores.
Yeah, like I have a whole like box of just like my box score. Like Ben Brackett scored a goal. Like every time I scored a goal, cut that thing out.
Our
put it in a
moms would
box.
like literally cut them out and keep them. So, which was cool, right? Like that was awesome as a high school student. But we found like they stopped covering the game, so the high school soccer had no coverage. So we started doing a write-up, like a story, like 500
they would
words.
They would make me write. We'd go to watch the game, and then I would have to write a story, and then they would edit it.
Yeah, we'd do like headlines. Would be like, Perry and like Pella was like the Blue Jays or the Little Dutch stomped the Blue Jays or something. Just like silly, corny titles. So writing a write-up took a long time. So we're like,
I think my best one was who vanquished the Dragons. That was my best. The Johnson Dragons got vanquished.
So they're like, well, let's just do a podcast and talk about the game instead of writing it up. So that's literally like our first few episodes, which I think our first episode ever is nowhere to be found anymore because it got deleted from Anchor or whatever we used to use.
Well, and I think that was really, it was like Matt really, I feel like he encouraged us. He was like, guys, you're wasting so much time writing these stupid articles. Like, just go talk about it for 30 minutes on the podcast. So,
and weirdly, like you could have a couple.
Yeah, you have a beer after the game. Like, we'd go watch the high school game. It's like, all right, man, that was painful. We should probably have a beer and talk about it. And I mean, no offense to high school soccer. We love high school soccer, but sometimes it's a little painful.
Yeah, so then it just evolved into like high school soccer, and then high school is done, and then we were like, we have like a little Iowa Soccer Legends series about like some old time people that are retired, like who were the original Iowa Soccer quote legends, which is highly debatable. We're finding out because some people are like, why is that guy?
And some people, some people feel like they should be a legend, and they may not be in our mind.
Yeah.
So his legend status is arbitrary, very subjective.
Yeah, and then we did some college games. We did college games in the fall. And
120 episodes later, we're just sort of we've refined our sound. We've figured it out finally. Because if you've ever listened to our podcast, it's spotty. So we got that sorted, and then
at episode 118.
Yeah, we got it like finally.
If you could go back and start it different, would you do anything differently?
Oh, we like. The amount of time we have wasted trying to figure out the sound. We're on YouTube now, and like we've gone live, and we've had all sorts of issues there. Like,
will we do it differently though? Like, no, because I would say that we've like you learn a lot of times like through experience. So like if we had somebody that could just like run it for us, that would have been sweet. But I don't think we would have kept doing it. I think like part of it is just like it's the pursuit of like getting it a little bit better and like the repetition, and I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I would do is get a better sound guy.
Well, yeah, but you're never going to get that. You're never going to get that, so.
Yeah, you can't have my dad. He's stuck with me. I got a note in from The Office, speaking of him.
Oh, I like it.
An article. Superman and Aquaman played high school soccer together in small town Iowa, 10 miles south of Des Moines.
Norwalk. Yeah, that's Jason Momoa and Brandon Routh. They played for Norwalk. Literally, like you. I
didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
That's a note in from The Office.
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing.
And is it Brandon Routh? He was like the Superman. And
oh, you're right. Oh, good lord. Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Now, did Dustin Kralik coach them? No, because he's probably their
He probably played with them, didn't he? Or he was looking up to them. I don't know. How old's Jason Momoa anyway? Google?
Your note didn't tell you that, did it?
No, it didn't tell me enough. The Office isn't moving quick enough.
Alexa, Google Jason Momoa's age, please. Did that work? Did it come up? No.
Unfortunately not.
Sorry.
But I got another note asking what makes Iowa Soccer produce so many superheroes.
That's a great question.
It is a good one.
There's nothing else better to do, like follow the Iowa stereotype?
Yeah, I mean, it's like soccer's that sport though. Like it's sort of your fringe sport. So those superstars, those are actors, right? So like in school, they were probably like not the coolest guy, right? They were playing on the football team. They were like, I'm in the theater, and I'm also going to play on the soccer team. I think that's probably a good guess. Those are the special people. So like they were not going to waste their time playing football. Come on.
What do you think? You're like a current active Iowa soccer player. Why do we produce so many superheroes?
I don't know. Cool sport.
It's cool
sport.
It's what the cool kids do.
Yeah. No, I'm a pretty cool person too. Maybe a future superhero.
What would your superhero be?
I don't know.
Who would you embody?
I don't really know.
I'm not a big. I don't know a lot, but there's definitely DC and Marvel. Those are the two different entities,
yeah, that's
right?
True. Good. Look at this guy. He's so smart.
Yeah, so
pop culture.
Who would you be then?
I also know nothing about that. I probably would. I mean, just like let's go basic. Like Batman is the coolest. So yeah, Batman.
Yeah.
I'd just be like a playboy by day and just like a dark superhero by night. Sounds pretty sweet.
Yeah.
What about you?
I would be. I don't know enough. Maybe like the Incredible Hulk. Just 'cause he's the man.
All right, Anna, come on now.
Okay.
You've got to.
I don't have one. I don't know a huge amount.
Wonder Woman. Catwoman.
Those are two female superheroes. Good.
Okay.
That's all I know.
All right. Well, that's a good one though. I like that topic. Good stuff from The Office.
Good from The Office. Been really helpful today. Yeah, I think he's just enjoying the shout out we gave him earlier too.
Just basking in the glory.
He is.
Yeah, smile hasn't left his face.
Okay, but back to the mini pitches. We
Yes.
kind of went on a long tangent there, but tell me a little bit more about the programs that you host and the free clinics.
So we started the free clinics just to introduce kids to soccer. So if they want to play soccer, a lot of times I know because I had to do it. There's like $50 to $100, and if your child doesn't like soccer, they go for the first week and don't like it, you're out the money. And you're like, now what do I do?
When you were 6 years old, you were paying $50 to play soccer.
No, but
so you have
90,
like as kids. I just feel like you know because you have kids.
Yeah. Sorry, sorry, I didn't put that the right way.
No.
And so how can we kind of do two things? One, so the free clinic started before the mini pitches, but with that kind of thought behind it. But now we have the mini pitches that promote it. It's to advertise it, but it's also like they are great with little kids because, and this sounds so bad, it's like a cage. Like they can't get out of it. The balls don't go out of bounds. It's literally a constantly play, which kids should be doing anyways. There's no stoppages. They're not chasing the ball out of bounds, going after it. Like it literally is the ball is in bounds the entire time. It's great. So yeah, and it just has evolved. Like we started now, we got 3-year-olds all the way up to like 8 and 9-year-olds that come. We don't turn anybody away. We've had 10-year-olds come. We've had kids without shoes show up, like literally in sandals. We had like one time an 11v11 full-on game in a mini pitch. It's meant for like 5v5.
Yeah,
and
it was great.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's how the mini pitch kind of
our programming is definitely not like we always joke like, well, like if we show up late and it's just like, well, it's free. Like like it's just meant to be fun. It's not we're not trying to like teach your kid to be the next superstar or anything like that. It's just like
superhero.
Let's go. Yeah, superhero. My fault.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's a good thing I've got somebody to check
Yeah.
up on me and keep me in line. But yeah, I think that's good.
So you talked about growing players, but how else do you want to grow coaches and referees?
We got a cool initiative we're working on with the referees right now, where I'd be interested to know your opinion. So referees, if you want to become a referee, it's a large investment for our money because you got to buy all your gear. The course is expensive and it's like a time commitment. You got to, was it 2 weekends? I think was 2 full weekends or something like that. And you're refereeing, a lot of times you get into the entry-level referee, you are refereeing like U6, U8 games where are you really calling fouls? Are you really calling handballs? Are you really calling like bad throw-ins? So we're working with the state to kind of come up with like a kick it forward referee course where it's $25. They get a shirt, they get a whistle, they get a watch, and they just learn U6 and U8 rules. They're not U.S. soccer certified yet, they are, quote, kick it forward certified, where you're just learning the basic rules of how do you flip a coin, how do you like
deal with the parents, how do you, like, when you blow the whistle, like make sure you check your watch.
Yep, so that's one, and then the other cool.
Well, and then we've got the one that we're doing with
the coaches.
Yeah.
So we are super grateful. We received a grant from the United Soccer Coaches to run a coaching education course, which is at the Hannah Park mini pitch in Marion.
Unfortunately, we had the Bulldog running it down for us.
Yes, so it was great. So we applied for that, and so they're going to come run a free coaching education course at the mini pitch, which for us again is like that mini pitch now provides playing opportunities for players, referees, and now coaches.
Yeah, and I think that's something we're going to try and I think we found that when you put those mini pitches out there, it's awesome, and there's a lot of organic stuff that happens, but we want to try to kind of like backfill some programming and get people to make some organized programming that happens as well, in addition to all the fun organic stuff.
Tell me a little bit also about the ideas with high school coaching classes.
So before COVID, we had a pretty cool little deal where we linked up with the Des Moines North Girls program, where we were going to get them all a grassroots license. And to us, like coaching, it's not just soccer, right? You're developing leadership, communication skills, trying to figure out how you problem solve. COVID hit, so it unfortunately got put on the back burner. But it was going to be an all-female course led by our good friend Ginger McGill. She was going to run it, and then Lisa Grief, the women's coach at North, completely bought in. And for some of those girls, like it would be a massive learning experience to kind of put them a little bit out of their element, make it uncomfortable, but to actually grow as a person. Even though and that's how kind of soccer bridges that gap a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's also both those coaching and the refereeing, like it's a discipline that you learn within the sport, but then it's also a way to make money and like support your soccer habit, basically, right? Like, I think that's an important piece to it, and it also, good Lord, I wish I would have taken a ref course back in the day, because I just would have like treated referees better.
I took it. I was a referee for a while.
Well, and you were not the same way that I was to referees. You were much nicer.
Still not.
Yeah, of course.
You're
not.
still yelling at referees in co-ed.
Oh,
co-ed.
I have not yelled at a referee in a long
games,
time.
so.
I am not Matt Nickel. Sorry, I will defend myself to the death on that.
With the referee classes, I know sometimes it can be scary to kind of go and be the first maybe of your high school team. How do you encourage athletes to get out there?
That's a really good question.
Trying to persuade them, like, yes, you're going to be uncomfortable. It's not going to be like fun sometimes, right? Like, but it's also like you only get better with experience. You don't, the first time you get behind a car, you're super nervous. The first time you ask somebody out on a date, you're super nervous. But like the more you do it, the more time you spend with it, you get a little more comfortable. And at the end of that, you're going to fail, right? Guys, we know, girls, we know you're going to make a bad call. Like we don't, like as coaches do it, players do it. And it's easy for referees to get the short end of the stick because it's easy for them to blame, right?
I also think like encouraging people to do it, I think it's more like you got to get them in early and make them understand it early, because like by the time you're 15 or 16, you've already decided that you don't like referees. I'm not going to be a referee. Like they just, whatever. Like you got to learn it sooner. And I think that's part of it, is like the referee is the authority, and so like at a certain point you're going to be like, well, I don't want to listen to the authority. Like that's the way it works. So I think it's understanding that that's part of the game, it's part of the framework, and then it's like it's really a facilitator of the game more than the authority, right? Like they're just keeping it going, making sure that everybody knows it's for real.
I think we just try to persuade them, right? Like, hey, maybe don't listen to your mom or your dad, but we're outsiders. We're a third party almost. Like, listen to us, and we're just trying to help.
Yeah. And for me, refereeing has been a huge boost of confidence. It's definitely helped me grow as a person. And I do encourage many people to go and at least take the course and learn about it.
Well, because it's really just like a decision-making course, right? Like that's all you're doing is like making decisions and like being a leader. Like that's really all you're doing. Like, the referee is ultimately the leader of the game, so it should be a boost of confidence.
So you have so many amazing ideas. Do you have hopes of growing out of Iowa?
For
Talk
sure.
about your project in Rhode Island, and then
Sure. So we talked kind of like just about the network of soccer and how like I'm seeing my college friends, or we're gonna see a coach or old coaches, whatever. So like through that, the network, it's almost never ending, right? With just like guys you played with, or girls you played with, or grew up with, or whatever. And so my college teammates and I were chatting about it. They found out about what we were doing, and they were like, "Oh, it's really cool." And one in particular, Jeff Lorenowitz, who you should know, is an MLS player and kind of like big time American player. He was like, "Hey, let's do this. I want to do one, but I don't really like." He's from Philadelphia, and he's like, "I'm not sure that I have like ties to Philadelphia right now, but I think it'd be really cool to have something in Providence." And so we reached out to another nonprofit in Rhode Island, Project Goal. It's run by Darius Shrazadi. I think I'm probably butchering his last name, but Darius is like a never-ending energy. He's a bulldog like your old man, and he's out there like doing the work every day and making it happen. And so we partnered with him. He had a relationship with the city, and bada bing, bada boom, we've got a double court in Central Falls, Rhode Island, which is I think it's actually the most dense population, or it's one of the most densely populated places in the country, and it's underserved, and it was just like a really cool project. And it was one of these things, like we went for the grand opening, and it was like 5 or 6, 7 guys that I played with like flew to Providence, and we like had a night out and did the grand opening, and it was just like, it sort of like affirms all that stuff that we've been working on. It like builds that community and it stretches it out. And so like we've got one that's going to come in Omaha here in the spring. That is, it's the relationships that we've built, that somebody's like, "Hey, let's do this," and we know a few people, and off you go. So I think we're going to keep growing it. It's not like a world domination thing. It's not like we're like, "Oh, we need Kick It Forward everywhere." It's just like, can we just grow the game, make it more accessible? And it's like a reason for us to just like see our friends and like maintain those relationships. And I think it's probably like, for sure we want to grow, but slowly, hopefully.
Do you have any goals set for the future of what you do want to become?
we like when we talk about like what are we going to do in a year, 2 years, 5 years, we are finally now just like starting that, like actually trying to be a little more organized and plan. I
don't think we really thought it was a thing before. So it's just kind of like, okay, well, like we both have jobs, but like could this be more? I mean, for sure. It's thought. It's been thought about. For
we
sure.
talk like too, like there's 99 counties in Iowa. Like this is long term, but it would be really cool to have one mini pitch in every single county in the state.
Yeah, imagine that. Like every kid in Iowa can drive to a mini pitch within 20 minutes. That'd be sweet. So, we'll see.
Yeah, those are our thoughts.
Yeah.
Today.
Yeah, give us a couple. It's still early. We haven't had any beers yet. So next thing you know, we're going to talk about 1,000 mini pitches.
Oh no. We want to get them out before they start drinking.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about the podcast. Where can people find your podcast?
All the places. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, even Stitcher for our pal Luke Freeberg, which he's really getting a lot of reach.
Yes. YouTube. So we have now recently put which is, I don't know, we didn't really expect, but like people actually watch it on YouTube. So they sit and
take
watch
note
us,
of that, boss.
Talk in like a little layer. That's the other spot on YouTube now.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can see it, like all our gaffes and foibles all just like live, which is, you can imagine they've come often.
Yeah. And what about your personal accounts?
So
we have those.
Yeah.
My name's Ben Brackett. I'm at Ben Brackett on Instagram. Blake's at not Reynolds Man, but Running Man. No, not Running Man,
but Reynolds Man.
We'll put it somewhere.
Let's put it this way. Neither of us is really active personally on social media, but
KIF Soccer is our handle.
Yeah.
Kick It
Okay.
Forward.
Oh yeah. And then KIF_soccer.
Yeah, that's like, I don't know, have you had any issues with so somebody has an account on Twitter, KIF Soccer, which is like we're told, hey, you want your tags to be uniform on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. When some guy has KIF soccer, and like we've reached out,
Can't figure out how to buy it.
tried
Don't know
to
what
like
to do.
tried to be like he's inactive, and we've tried to like reach out to Twitter to say, hey, this is a somebody has stolen our name, and like they're not
having it. No.
But
Yeah, that's where you can find us.
Well, we have our final question, which I ask each guest. What do you hope people remember about your impact to soccer and the world?
Wow. Some heavy stuff.
I hope they remember like the smiles that soccer brings by us providing places for these kids and adults to play. They hopefully have smiles, they laugh, they have a good time, and that's ultimately what I hope. And in the world, like we've actually like are talking about mini pitches in the U.S. Virgin Islands, in Saipan. So that would be where it'll tie in for me for the world.
Oh, 'cause I was going to say, like, I hope people remember that I'm like an excellent goal scorer. I always defended, but that's probably not what you mean. No, I think like that's probably. I hope that just the kids, people, anybody can like find that spark, whatever it is. Well, hopefully for me it was soccer. Hopefully that like just putting mini pitches out there, putting free programming out there, like somebody else gets the spark that you've got, or the old man has, or old Siebes here.
Thank you so much for joining me today.
We were happy to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. Who's the best podcast so far?
Well, you're the first of the week.
So don't tell hey, just say you guys.
Okay, you guys.
Perfect.
Obviously.
There we go.
Thanks, Anna.
I really enjoyed chatting with Ben and Blake today. They are great friends of my dad and I, if you can't tell, and it's always good to catch up. Kick It Forward is doing an amazing job at growing soccer all over Iowa. They have especially helped our community as well. With the mini pitch being put in, it's been put to great use, and my dad and I absolutely love it. All kids and adults all over absolutely love it as well. It's so much fun to just go out and pick up a random game. I cannot wait to see what Kick It Forward does to expand and grow on their missions and goals. I hope you enjoyed the episode, and until next time, remember to keep the game beautiful.